While the men of the NFL are back this week, the women are the big discussion point of this season. Okay, and you too, COVID. Here's what you need to know about the country's most popular sport that kicks off this week. This is Sports Curious, presented by Last Night's Game. I'm your host, Amy Butchon-Siegfried. Thank you for joining us today. We are super excited for the start of the NFL season. So as you may recall, college football started last week, Labor Day weekend, and the NFL is always the week after that. There's so much to discuss when talking about this upcoming season. So with that, let's get started. The NFL will have a record 12 women coaches this season, and 6 of those are women of color. Included in the 12 are 2 coaches from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. These 2 ladies were the first women to win a Super Bowl as coaches. The growth of women in the NFL is credited to a few programs that include the Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Fellowship and the league's annual Women's Careers in Football Forum. The 2 aim to increase the number of full-time NFL minority coaches. COVID protocols for vaccinated and unvaccinated players are very different this season. So different that some coaches have had to backtrack on comments that insinuated that they kept vaccinated players on their team over those who were not. If a vaccinated player tests positive, they can return to the team as soon as 48 hours after testing positive, provided that they have 2 negative tests 24 hours apart. Vaccinated players must isolate for a minimum of 10 days, even if they're asymptomatic. It's interesting because fantasy football is such a high-grossing business that a player's vaccination status is not part of the fantasy football conversation, although players like Tom Brady are not revealing their vaccination status publicly. Food for thought. Last year was the first season in 14 seasons that the NFL did not play a game in London. And while it might be tough for you and I to get to London this fall, the city will be hosting 2 NFL games in October. The Atlanta Falcons and New York Jets will play on Sunday, October 10th, and the Jacksonville Jaguars will take on the Miami Dolphins the following weekend, which is October 17th. The teams will play at the home of Tottenham Hotspur, the soccer team. Despite concerns about the toll a season takes on a player's body, money talks. During the offseason, team owners voted to expand the regular season from 16 to 17 games this season. This season, there will also be a change in how players get paid. Players will receive at least 48% of all of the league revenue. That figure could increase depending on the upcoming TV negotiations for the league. If you find the idea of the broadcasting team talking stats and not strategy or providing interesting insights to the game, now you're in luck. Super Bowl winning quarterbacks and brothers Peyton and Eli Manning will provide a simulcast of Monday Night Football. Basically, it'll be the 2 of them sitting around watching the game, giving their commentary. And if you've ever followed them on social media or even seen Peyton's Saturday Night Live hosting gig, they're pretty funny, so I think we're probably in for a treat. It'll basically be 2 dudes, a football game, and a microphone. Pass the popcorn. Well, that's it for this week. Hope you're geared up and ready to rock as we dive into the NFL season. It starts on Thursday, September 9th, and will run all the way till the Super Bowl, which is the first weekend in February. So hang on because it's a long ride. And with the holidays just getting ready to get started, it will definitely be the topic of conversation all the way through the new year. And we have our Fantasy Football 101 and a lot of other pointers and great Sports 101 information for you on our website at lastnightsgame.com. But if you ever have any questions or concerns, something you want to learn a little bit extra about, send me a note at amy@lastnightsgame.com. I read all my emails, would love to hear what you think and what you might want to learn about as well. If you didn't know, we have a tri-weekly e-newsletter that comes into your inbox every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's a quick 3-minute read that gets you caught up on what's happening in the world of pop culture and sports. Starting this Friday and every Friday of football season, we will have our tailgate treat. That's a recipe from you, our listeners, and our readers, something that you love to share at a party or maybe possible for a tailgate. Head on over to lastnightsgame.com and sign up for that. You can also find every tailgate treat by clicking on the What's Happening header and clicking on Tailgate Treat. And of course, don't forget to stock up for the football season at the Last Night's Game merch store. where we have everything you need for football season and beyond. Head on over to lastnightsgame.com and use that promo code SPORTSCurious when you shop. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of the week, and we look forward to seeing you here next week for another episode of Sports Curious. Stay safe, friends. Wash your hands.